All right, today we're looking at creating an array where each side of the array is a fraction. So let's do, for example, 2/3 times 3/4. Okay, so we have a 2/3 by 3/4 array. So let's see how do we handle this? Well, we know that the denominator means the total number of parts, and the numerator means how many parts we're talking about or how many parts we have. So if I look at the denominators, I have a 3 and I have a 4. So if I were to draw the complete array, it would be 3 by 4. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and draw what it would be like if it was the complete array, if we weren't dealing with fractional parts, if we were dealing with the whole thing. So since the 2/3 comes first, this 3 is first, I'm going to always, whatever comes first, I'm just going to do that across, and then whatever comes second, I'm going to do it down. So I'm going to go 3 across, 1, 2, 3, and then 4 down, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to go ahead and box that in. So if this were a 3 by 4 array, I would be finished. But this is fractional parts, and so I'm not interested in the whole thing. What I'm interested in is 2 out of these 3 columns. I've got one column here, draw it real light, one column here and one column here, but I'm only interested in 2 of those. So let me erase this. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a diagonal line going through the squares of the 2 columns that I'm interested in. So I'm going to do it here and here, like this. So this shows me that I'm thinking about those particular squares that are in these 2 columns out of those 3. Okay? I'm also going down the side, I'm not interested in all 4 rows. I'm only interested in 3 of those 4 rows. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick the top 3 rows, and I'm going to draw a diagonal line going the other direction to show the rows that I'm interested in. So my first row looks like this. I draw my diagonals through each one of those squares. There's the second row, and there's the third row. Okay? So now I go back and look. The part of the array that I'm interested in is the part that they both share. And the way that I can tell the part they both share is it's the squares with the x's in them. So what I'm going to do is draw a little box around the part that I'm talking about. Okay? Just these 6 squares had the x's in them, so this is what I'm interested in. So the way I would write that is I would say, well, there are 6 squares that I was interested in out of this 3 by 4 array, and 3 times 4 is 12. So what this means is, this is really half, because 6/12 is the same thing as half. So I had an x in half of the squares. Okay? So let's do one more example. Let's say that I had 3/5 by 1/4. Okay? So I have a 3/5 by 1/4 array that I need to draw. First thing, I'm going to draw what would have been the full array if I had been interested in the whole thing. So the 5 comes first, so I'm going to go 5 across, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm going to go 4 down, 1, 2, 3, 4, and go ahead and box that in. This would be the whole array. This would be a 5 by 4, but I'm only interested in 3 of those 5 columns. So I'm going to do a diagonal, 1, 2, 3, through 3 of the columns. So there are my 3 columns that I'm interested in, and I'm only interested in 1 row of those 4 rows. So I'm just going to pick the top one, go across like this. Okay, so if you look, I'm only interested in these 3 squares. Okay, so I can write this out off to the side. I was interested in 3 of the squares, and my original array was a 5 by 4, so that's a total of 20 squares altogether, and out of those 20 I was interested in 4 of them. So the focus is on the number of squares that they share in common, and if you'll do these hash marks for these, it'll make this so much easier to figure this out. Now this works for any fraction of any size. You can work that out. Okay, so I hope this helps you with your homework.